Hey guys, welcome to Heart to Talk the podcast. I am the host and creator, Teresa Caesar. My intention for this podcast is to deliver to you wisdom, inspiration, and consciousness through solo episodes and conversations amongst insightful people. It is my greatest honor to bring to you talks that come from the heart. Welcome back, amazing listeners. I am so excited to introduce you all to this episode's amazing guest, my girl, Lucy Howell. Lucy is an independent, perfectly imperfect, mainstream mama, not certified in anything except the Force for Health Network, where she's dedicated to helping individuals and communities learn it, live it, and share it every day. With a passion for empowering others, Lucy has built a remarkable career blending business development, partnerships, and entrepreneurship across industries. As co-founder and CEO of the Force for Health Network, Lucy, along with her partner, Dr. Rob Giglio, has pioneered innovative programs like the Reality Health Games and FitFamily Force, which combine education, gamification, and community engagement to make health literacy accessible and fun. Lucy has also served as a Pima County Tucson Women's Commissioner, where she launched My Girl Power, an empowerment club for young women, which she's so excited to reimagine this summer within the Force for Health Network. Beyond her incredible work and successes, Lucy is a proud wife, mother, and a hula hooping enthusiast. Today, friends, we're going to be diving into her inspiring journey, her innovative projects, and her contagious passion for making health accessible and fun. I'm so excited for y'all to meet my beautiful and incredible friend, Lucy Howell, a true force for health and good. Lucy, girl, I am so excited to finally have you on this podcast. Welcome to the show.
I know, Teresa. I've just been watching you just grow and flourish and blossom. Congratulations to everything that you've been doing and just staying true to yourself and really finding your voice. And so I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That means a lot. And I'm truly so honored. Since I've known you and met you, you've been one of those women I've looked up to and admired for just going after it and doing things different.
Thank you for saying that out loud. It feels great. I'm always honored and humbled when and if somebody says that, because I just try and live my life. Sometimes I wish that I didn't have this drive to want to shake the world, but I don't know, like my mama's spirit is inside me. So I just have to feel like I have to live up to her legacy, and which is part of what I do every day. So
that's so powerful. So that being said, Lucy, I want to dive in. I want you to tell this audience who you are, your story. You're a daughter, you're a twin, a wife, a mom, an entrepreneur.
Oh my gosh, where do I even start? I'll just do the kind of abbreviated version. I'm from Southern California. I am a Gen Xer and have now come into halfway through my 5th decade. I start with who I am as a twin because in the womb, I was a twin. I have a twin brother who, when we were born, he went into the incubator and I came out nice and, full, which I always thought was interesting. From Southern California, kind of private school upbringing, played all the sports. That was back when we played 4 sports a year. One of my biggest life accomplishments to date is being inducted into my high school's athletic hall of fame, which in a house full of athletes, my family, right?
Oh yeah,
Glenn and Haley and Kobe. So the fact that mama gets to brag about being the only Hall of Famer in her family, that's one of the things that I hold near and dear to my heart. And then in 87, so that was the Valley, the San Fernando Valley. I was a full Valley girl. That's the height of Valley girlism. And then came out to Tucson in 87, played about a year with some good girlfriends, and then met my hubby, Glenn Howell, fall of my sophomore year. And went on and worked, did the University of Arizona thing, did the Pima Community College thing. I wasn't really into school. I really didn't realize the gift that my parents were handing me, quite frankly, on a silver platter. It's probably one of my biggest regrets. I just figured it's who you know and, what you can sell to be successful. And I just really, I kind of let that go. And it is a cross that I bear. one of the things that happened to me, so I was working in Bally Total Fitness as an aerobics instructor. That was the day. Those were the days where my 5:30 class had 50 people in it on Monday, and it was awesome. And I was a sales manager there, and there was an opportunity that came along that I was perfect for, but then my good friend just said, he's not going to hire you because you don't have your degree. And not having a degree, it doesn't mean that you're smart or not smart. It just says that you have the discipline to finish something. And that hit really hard.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I'm here as a successful Bally Total Fitness sales manager. I actually got sales manager of the year, and I thought I was doing well. And I was just like, gosh darn it, that is never, ever going to happen to me again. And so that week I went and enrolled in the University of Phoenix and just finished it out. And so then converted into momhood, and my daughter Haley is going to be turning 30 this year, and then my son is 22. So as a wife, married we just celebrated our 30th anniversary. So
Congratulations.
I've been with this man for 36 years, which is insane and awesome. We share a life together, and I just can't believe how quickly the motherhood portion, that 0 to 18 and then they're out. It's crazy.
It so is.
Doesn't all you got to do is like step back and surrender and hope that you did your job, but I feel like I raised two beautiful souls. And so to me, that's a success.
They're incredible. I'm a witness to that. You have an incredible husband. But along the journey of motherhood, you've always been a working mother. Can you tell us about the career path and how significant that is to who you are now?
Yeah. So back when I was in college, that's when I started working and went into Bally Total Fitness. So I was teaching aerobics and really kind of got my first sales training, consumer sales for Bally Total Fitness. And it was awesome because it was at that time also that I had my first baby. I remember Haley, and I got pregnant at Bally's and I gained 80 pounds. I taught aerobics all the way through and I still gained 80 pounds. I remember just being 36 weeks step teaching aerobic. But it was nice to actually then lose that 80 while I was selling memberships, promoting healthy lifestyles and decisions. So that was kind of cool. And then my office mate came and said, oh my gosh, I just got this job. No more weekends. It's awesome. Selling copiers. And I'm like, that's interesting. And so that was a company called Icon.
Okay.
And so I went and interviewed at Icon, and that was my first kind of salary job. I remember, oh my gosh, $36,000 was like the base, and then you could make like $50,000 or $60,000. That was in the late 90s, and I sold copiers for 1 year. 1 year, but really hitting the streets. And anytime a salesperson can have the opportunity to sell something that's a high ticket sale, it's actually quite fruitful. So anyways, I sold a copier to a law firm who was just opening a firm here in Tucson. She happened to be a female-owned law firm, one of the largest in the country for creditor rights and bankruptcy. And so I sold the copier to her husband, and he seemed impressed by me, and he invited me to lunch at Skyline. I met Patty Bass and Charlie Bass, and they hired me into the lovely world of financial services sales. So that put me into a national sales role, and I was selling into like creditors. So like maybe think if you got a bill for something, so the cell phone, AT&T, GT Wireless, or your car's Ford was a client of mine, or Verizon Wireless was a client of mine. So that was the first time that I got lifted out of on the street copier sales to now national sales director. So I worked at the law firm for about 4 years and then said, this isn't my soul. Got to step back.
You said something really powerful. You said that after 4 years at the law firm, you knew it wasn't your heart and soul. There's like a whisper and there's a knowing when you're like, I'm not supposed to be here anymore. Mm-hmm. Then that pivoted you. A lot of people don't because it's not safe. It's scary. It's unknown. There's like that uncertainty. But did you have a certain certainty, a conviction?
I remember being at a conference one time, and the one positive thing about that job was just, probably 10 conferences a year. It was always beautiful, just kind of like get away and then, have all the drinks and the food, everything was high end. But I remember being at this one conference and I was looking around at the table and they were all the banks and the credit card issuers. And we were a collection law firm. Okay, let's just get that straight as to what I actually represented for people. I represented the people that were going to sue you if you did not pay your bills. And I'm looking going, oh, I owe them money. It was just like, this is not what I was put on the earth to do. And once you recognize that, then it's hard to kind of ignore it. And I'm the type of person, I will go 2000% on something when I'm in it. But once mentally it snaps, then I start fading and it's really hard for me to fake it, So I tried to leave that industry. I went and got hired to sell recruiting services for engineers pretty quickly because I actually sourced the guy. He's like, I can't believe you actually called me. Hell yeah, I will hire you right now. I did engineering recruiting for a whole 3 months. And we actually found somebody. I worked with the recruiter, we placed them, and then the company refused to pay. And I said, I am not going to be in this industry either. But my mom had just turned 71, had a cancer treatment, and we found out that her cancer had come back. So this was 7 years post her breast cancer surgery, double mastectomy. And so we baked her a cake, and it was the last picture that I had with Haley and my mom. So that was powerful because as 9/11 is hitting, right? So that's August 31st. That's her birthday. We found out her cancer came back. And then all of a sudden we get attacked, 9/11, right? And then the following week, I'm putting my mom in ICU. And then we had to take her off life support the following week. So that fall of 2001 was really crazy. And that's why I said, screw it. Let's just do what we love. And that's when I started a business plan for my husband and I on a performance gym. It was called Velocity Sports Performance. And, I spent 2 years saying, hey, let's go do Velocity Sports Performance. You can have your gym. I'll have my magazine. And we can just live that life instead of for others. Very difficult to raise the funds for the gym, but that's where originally I got the idea for my magazine. So I launched Tucson Sport magazine as my very first. The tagline was embrace family, engage sport, and celebrate life. And so the magazine to print world is very difficult in 2006, 2007. If you can recall, that was the very beginning of social media, MySpace and Facebook. And so we printed maybe 6 or 7 issues, went through that business relationship, learned a lot, but it was hard to survive. So I had to go back and go to the financial services. Financial services sales always was a 6-figure foundational safe space.
Yeah.
So you're always give or take, So I got hired by a New York firm that sold whole loan portfolios for banks. And I didn't know what that meant. I remember being in the airport going to interview for this job, and I bought this book called Playing with the Big Boys.
I love it, Lucy.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know what
I love that part of you. Fake it till you make it. Just
isn't that one of the fake it till you make it is really a big deal because most men do. And I think are more sensitive to feeling like they have to be really good at something before feeling like they're going for it. And so I remember him saying, do you know what a financial audit is? I was like, no. What do you need me to do? And all he needed me to do was I was over the 12 states in the West, and I was responsible for calling bank presidents and chief credit officers and chief risk officers of the banks, which in a normal world would have been fine. But then when the financial tsunami hit, these banks had these capital ratios that if they didn't sell off certain assets and cover their losses, then my firm would be knocking on their door on Friday and closing them down. So that whole 2006 to 2000, that was 5 years I was there, 2011 was crazy. I mean, so I represented sellers and buyers of whole loan portfolios. My firm was one of the 5 firms that the FDIC hired to sell these assets of these failed banks. And so I'm talking $25 to $1 billion type of transactions in there. At that time, that firm was in New York, and there were 3 people that worked remote. One guy was in Florida, one guy was in New York, and then I was in Arizona. So that was very eye-opening, and being around a lot of interesting people. And then that kind of subsided, and I said, thanks for the ride, I will look elsewhere. And that's when I started my second magazine, Tucson Move. The first one was Tucson Sport magazine. The second one was Tucson Move magazine. And this was with a partner that actually was based in Athens, Georgia. And he had a track record of franchising publications. I don't know if you guys remember the Apartment Guide.
Yeah.
That orange
I do.
book, the Apartment Guide that you would see on all the racks in the grocery stores. He was early in on that franchise and helped grow that from 20 to over 200 locations. And we thought we could do the same thing with the Youth Sport magazine, right? But again, launching a company undercapitalized with, at that time when you're printing 20, 30, 40,000 magazines, that is a nice little bill that you got to pay. And when I can remember meeting with Kevin Madden, who is one of my mentors with Madden Media, they did the Tucson Lifestyle magazine, and they did so many things. And he thought I was crazy going into a monthly cadence magazine. And I said, we can do it. We can do it. And it very quickly, within 100 days, you just feel like you're in the middle of these tidal waves. So that was a learning experience. And so I had a December one and then a May one. But the May one, we actually printed 60,000. And we were able to get distribution approval through all the districts, all the school districts, TUSD being a nice leader there. But the goal was to put something that was of value in the hands of all K-8 families and high schoolers who are all looking to celebrate healthier communities together. But again, undercapitalized, and you just have short runways and you learn so much. So I could only do that for so long. And that's when I actually got an opportunity. I was at Startup Tucson, at one of the Lean Canvas poster deals, and was approached by this woman, and she represented women angel investor groups. She had just moved here from Seattle. She came in with her bike, and I raised my hand instantly and I said, what is the status of angel investing for women in the United States right now? Are there a lot? There were like maybe 6 or 7 networks at the time. And I just really loved her. Anyways, she approached me and said, hey, I am the current partnership director for the Angel Capital Association, and I am retiring. And I think someone like you would be perfect for this role. Would you consider it? And I said, wow, that's interesting. Of course I would consider it. It was a part-time gig, and I interviewed for it. And then that got me into the world of angel investing. I was a national partnership director. This association was the largest network of active accredited angel networks in North America. And we put on maybe 10 events per year, 8 regional events. So it got us in Portland and Cincinnati and Miami and Pittsburgh and Denver, Chicago. I loved all the places that we had events in because we got to dig into their ecosystem of innovation and angel investing, and seeing how all of these companies were producing these companies in our backyard, then seeking capital. And I've always thought that a community needs to recirculate innovation for angel investing. Tucson is a very, very giving town. We have the highest per capita nonprofits here. But what we need to do and make sure is that some of that philanthropy can skim off and seed angel investing so that we can help grow and support, because there's a gap here.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I spent some time at Angel Capital Association as a partnership director for about 4 or 5 years, left that, and then went full time into my baby now, which is My Healthy Globe Incorporated. It was founded in 2017 as a Delaware-based C Corp. Met my partner right after my startup Tucson Lean Canvas poster, and we've been working on this baby since. So we do business as the Force for Health Network. But yeah, we're trying to gamify this concept of healthier citizenship. We realize that population health is a team sport,
Yeah.
but the cost of healthcare is astronomical. Our system is completely broken. My partner is a retired Mayo physician. He's a retired pulmonologist. He calls it a sick care system we have, not a health care system. We have 80% of the associated healthcare costs come from a chronic disease that is preventable. So how do we incentivize people to make better decisions, but also challenge those community leaders who need to address the disparities, need to address the gaps, and so that we can come together and boast about, hey, we do live in a great community.
What's your mission?
Our mission is just that we feel like everybody can be a force for health for themselves, their families, and their communities. But we realize and recognize that not everybody has the same access and information to do so. So we want to fill that gap, whether it's at the school level, the family level, or the community level, and put a spotlight on those who care and are doing well.
And tell the listeners how you all are doing that. You have an app developed, and how does that look like with the platform you created?
Think of us as like a omni media publisher. So if we have a message, we will want to put it in print, in broadcast, on a website, maybe in a learning academy so we can gamify it, and then in social. So we do have a private physician-led social media network. So think like Facebook groups that's integrated with a free virtual health academy. So the barrier to improve your own health literacy is gone.
Wow.
There's no cost in that. Of course, we have some premium tools, like we have a custom personalized health risk assessment. That's all of $5. That's included in our annual ambassador membership. When we look at an ambassador membership, that's when we have now a virtual health club. So just think of like MyFitnessPal or Calm or Weight Watchers.
Yeah.
That type of functionality of physical and nutrition tracking, that's in our virtual health club.
I love that. So you can essentially be like, get like your group of friends and create like a club or a team within like an office. How does that look like?
I love that you're going there. I mean, that's my goal and my vision is that we can pit communities up against each other by activating the organizations in their communities within a chamber of health system. So is there a place where families can team up and, help each other get their steps in? Maybe we're sharing recipes. One of the fun things that I love to do on the app is take one of my Filipino recipes, and just because I've added it as a meal and I share it as a PDF, then you get the whole nutritional outcomes, and somebody could easily just add that and say, oh, I'll try that, But yeah, you can team up as a group, and in the Academy app, you can learn it, live it, and share it. And everything you do over there is gaining you points. And then in the virtual gym app, it's the physical activity tracking, nutrition tracking, and leaderboards. And so it's fun.
So for those listening, how can they start? Can they download your app? What are like the 1, 2, 3 steps to get started?
Well, my first step is just to connect, right? Connect with great information. And so anybody can do that by either going to the App Store and searching for 360 Force for Health Academy, downloading the app, and coming on board. It's just like Facebook. Come on board and join the network, and then find some groups. The difference between our network and Facebook groups is basically that you'll have a full health academy attached to it. So that if you do watch a video on myocarditis, because my cardio girl, that's one of the highlight stories we're talking about, you're going to earn points for that. As a startup, we can't necessarily give prizes away yet until we find sponsors. So right now we're built, if you did upgrade to an ambassador membership, and let's just talk about this, because if you were to download MyFitnessPal or Noom or Calm, those are typically $30 to $60 per month apps, the pro version. You know, our all-in-one ambassador is $49 a year.
That's not bad at all. Yeah.
And if you're a group leader with the Force for Health Network, which means that you're coming in at $99, but you have all this other stuff. You have a virtual classroom, you have group leader tools. You have the capacity to earn 50% for your group off of those.
That's so incredible. I am just so proud of you and blown away. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. So everyone listening, I'm going to drop the link or the 1, 2, 3 steps, any app store, right?
It's a Google Play and on Apple. And like I said, our 360 Force for Health Academy is free. So download it, activate a new account, upload a profile picture so we know who you are, and join some groups and just start, improving your health literacy and knowledge. We pull in feeds from the state agencies, from CDC, Arizona Department of Health. So I am really trying to make this like a one-stop shop. Resource, tools, trackers, and incentives in the palm of your hand. That's what we're trying to do.
That is incredible. It's just so impressive. Lucy, I want to pivot. You talk about living life with LuvNSol.
Yeah, my mom's Filipino name was Consolacion Ruiz Breaker, and she was a magnificent science teacher. I did not find out until she passed away and I was prepping for her eulogy that she was the National Science Teacher Chair of the Philippines. She wrote she wrote this biology textbook. So I've actually photocopied all the pages and am customizing a Mrs. Breaker chatbot. So she was LA Unified School District Teacher of the Year, middle school science, all the way through. Met my dad in Syracuse. So I just learned so much about my mama. And the Americans had a hard time calling her Consolacion, so her short name was Soli. And so when she passed away, my husband actually got in a pretty bad car accident while he was coming down to the hospital, totaled my car. And so that's when I got my convertible Mustang, and the license plate I addressed to it was Celebrate Life. And so for 15 years, I had Celebrate Life all the way up until last year. My red Mustang got stolen and I had to change my license plate. And I felt so like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And through all these iterations, I finally landed on LuvNSol. It just is exactly how I live my life, with love and soul. And as I launched this media company with my partner, who's a doctor, like who am I? I went to University of Arizona, and then I went to Pima Community College, and then my degree's from University of Phoenix, right? And so I, like many women, hold that cross and be like, oh, I can't thrive with the others that went to Harvard or Yale or Berkeley or Stanford or whatever. But I have been in all the rooms with people who have, and I've learned that there's no freaking difference, man. I mean, you just got to just not worry what people think. And so as I'm trying to find my voice, Dr. Rob in our platform has Dr. Rob Perspectives, Dr. Rob 360 Medical Explorer. He's a doctor.
Yeah.
And that's why we are a physician-led platform, and our surveys and feedback are showing that that's a big asset. That's what people love about it as they navigate all this misinformation. But me, I'm just like, I don't know. But that's where I just embrace LuvNSol. So I love to capture and make intentional experiences. And I just feel like when I celebrate those, whether I'm out and about, whether I'm hula hooping for my birthday, whether I'm just taking in a sunset by myself, to me, those are love and soul moments. So I'm going to capture all of those and present it in a Love and Soul series. So I'm all about my love and soul
I
phase
love
of my
it.
life right now.
I'm feeling it. I thought, oh, I just love it. Love it, girl. I want to talk about the power in using your voice for impact.
I started a committee saying, if we're going to have strong women, we better be supporting our girls. And we need them to know their voice. And by 8th grade, they need to know what they love. And so that committee was birthed. It was called My Girl Power. And My Girl Power had the mantra of know your voice, own your health, flex your wings, and leave your mark. And it was really about preparing them so that we could go have an impact on the disparity rates of leadership. At that time in Congress, even though women were 50% of the population, we only had 14% representation in the Congress. And we had less representation of that in the corporate boardroom. So we wanted more girls and we wanted more females in leadership roles in the public and private sector. And so just knowing your voice when you're trying to tell somebody, hey, what do you love? You self-reflect and you're like, hey, do you know what you love? And so I just think it's a powerful stop and reflect, challenge. Can you answer what you know your voice to be? And until you can, I just feel like you'll flail. You'll just kind of like a feather go with the other variables as opposed to driving through. Once you know your voice and you're okay with that, then my hope is that there will be less domestic violence, right? I think that women that don't know their voices find themselves in dangerous opportunities.
I love that. I love that. And everything that you've created, have those been expressions of your voice?
Absolutely. I don't know why I'm always I feel like I'm a trailblazer because I like to do things for the first time. At my daughter's school, when it first opened, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton, they were talking about what kind of fundraiser they wanted to do. And I was like, please, let's not do another fancy schmancy dinner up at La Paloma. Let's do something that the whole community can celebrate. So I presented in my diversity and celebration of diversity night. And we did a presentation of all the countries. Each class had a country and we had a presentation and we raised $80,000. And so that was beautiful. When you do something for the first time, it's never going to be perfect, ever. And so you're either going to stick with it or learn from it. So I just feel like, I don't know. If it's not happening, like this whole hula hoop deal, like I have it in my head that I'm going to break the Guinness World Record with Tucson and the community. The current record for the most number of hula hoopers was done with the message of public health from the Health Ministry of Thailand. And so when I learned about that, I was like, we're doing it. Hashtag Tucson Takes Thailand Challenge. And so at the time I was with the Tucson Hispanic Chamber, we almost pulled it off. We need 5,000 hula hoopers to hoop. Now the record is 4,374 for 2 minutes. My goal is to get 5,000 and to see if we can hula hoop for 8 minutes.
Oh my gosh, let's make it happen.
It would be done over probably 4 baseball fields. And the goal would be to do a phase 1, see if we can get 1,000 people in there. Because you know what? The Guinness World Record costs money. Do you want to guess how much I was quoted to host an official Guinness World Record? $43,000 is what it costs to be able to use their logos and to present it up as an official Guinness World Record. So my thought is like, let's see how the first one goes and we'll do the first unofficial and let's see how quickly we can fill 1,000, because 1,000 you can easily put in one baseball field.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's just the goal in the short term. And then we'll see how that goes. And then if Tucson's ready for it, then we'll go get some sponsors and we'll, present it up next year.
Oh my gosh, that's powerful. We're going to wrap up this episode with the closing questions per tradition. So the first question, Lucy, what is your favorite book?
I have about 10 favorite books that I feel like I've based my life on. I grabbed 2 of them quickly. One is called Expect to Win by Carla Harris, Proven Strategies for Success for a Wall Street Vet. This is insane. This is the book that I bought from the airport before I went to my New York with the guys finance interview.
I love it.
And this is another book that I bought in the airport on my way to another interview in Vegas on an opportunity. Again, kind of powerful guy, men stuff.
Yeah.
And this is called Playing with the Big Boys, Success Secrets for the Most Powerful Women in Business. So this just kind of tells 20 different stories of powerful women. But those are 2 of my favorite books.
And the next question, what is your favorite affirmation?
It's from you on one of your cards, and it keeps coming up.
Ooh, that's
and
a sign.
I love it.
What is it?
The universe has your back. I got goosebumps because that's how I have to live, because we're so hard on ourselves. There are deadlines that come and go. There are things that don't get done. There are things that I'm not proud of. There are things that I am super proud of. And every day is an opportunity to just plow through, and you can't carry the negative in. And all I can say is, Teresa's deck says the universe has my back, babe. So
It does.
It's come up 3 times in a row. This baby is on and timing with my alignment right now. So
that's incredible. Thanks for sharing. And then the last question, Lucy, what do you want to be known for?
Leaving something that can sustain beyond my life. And it's really as simple as that, is being able to leave a legacy mark.
And you have. Think about everything you've put out, your magazine, something that's printed forever leaves a footprint. And now you've created the digital footprint.
I hope so. We shall see. You never know. One of the quotes that I said at my mom's funeral is, you can never appreciate the true effect of a great teacher because the ripples are endless. And so that's like my girl power is know your voice, own your health, flex your wings. You gotta freaking flex your wings and leave your mark. If you're not living life to leave a mark on something, I don't know if that's truly living.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Please download, rate, subscribe, and share this podcast. Also, be sure to visit my website at teresacaesar.com to check out my inspirational merch, connect to my social accounts, and much more. May you continue to be filled with wisdom, inspiration, and consciousness. Otherwise, friends, I will be back in 2 weeks for another episode of Heart to Talk.